You feel it, don't you? Something's shifting. In the air, in your spirit, in the world around you. There's a silence before the storm. An ache in your chest that won't go away. You scroll, you swipe, you drink, you flirt. But no matter what you chase, you still feel like something is missing. Because something is. We are not living in ordinary times. We are living in the last breath of an old world. And whether you believe in prophecy or not, your spirit knows what's coming. This isn't about religion. This is about reality. You were born into a generation where the masculine soul is under siege. Young men have no fathers, no mentors, no direction. We've been told we're too much, so we shrink. We've been told to man up, but no one tells us how. But here's what I came to tell you. The signs are here, and not just the ones in the sky. The signs are inside you. You're waking up for a reason. You feel the urgency because it's your spirit crying out to lead, to fight, to become whole. The rapture may not just be an event. It's a calling, a tearing away of the false from the real. This is your moment not to wait for heaven, but to rise before it's too late. Because the final sign isn't out there in the clouds. It's in the man you're becoming right now. CHPTR1, we are living in a fatherless generation. And I don't just mean biological fathers. No, I'm talking about the deep spiritual famine of the masculine soul. Boys becoming men without ever being shown what a man even is. No one to guide them. No one to initiate them. No one to say, this is the way. Walk in it. So what do? They improvise. They guess. They copy whatever the world feeds them. And what does the world feed them? Lies. Lies about manhood being measured by muscles, money, and how many women you can sleep with. Lies that tell you to be hard, but never vulnerable. Tough, but never tender. Successful, but never still. And behind those lies is a generation of men dying quietly. Because deep inside, every man is a boy who needed a father. A voice that said, you are enough. Not because of what you do, but because of who you are. But instead, that silence speaks louder than anything. And I'll tell you this, the silence of a missing father is louder than any shout from the enemy. Because it leaves a man unanchored. It leaves a man performing instead of leading. It leaves him addicted to validation and terrified of vulnerability. But here's the truth. Listen carefully. The absence you feel, the ache in your soul, the hole in your chest that no relationship, no success, no pleasure can fill, that isn't proof that you're broken. It's proof that you're being called. God is not distant. He's not silent. He is stepping into the place your father never filled. He is coming to you not as a boss, not as a judge, but as a father. And he's not ashamed of your wounds. He's not disgusted by your weakness. He's not disappointed that you didn't have someone to show you how to be a man. In fact, he's been waiting for this moment to say to you, my son, I've seen the pain, I've seen the pressure, and I still choose you. I will raise you. I will teach you. I will call you into manhood, not like the world defines it, but like heaven designed it. The world might have failed you, but God never stopped being a father. And if you're willing to listen, not with your ears, but with your spirit, you'll hear it, the voice you've been aching to hear your whole life. My son, you are mine. You wear the mask well. You've learned how to keep it together, how to smile at the right time, how to speak strong and look like you're in control, even when your world's falling apart. You've learned how to play the role of the man, but inside you're tired, exhausted, not because you're weak, but because you've been pretending for too long. And the truth is, most of us have no idea who we are when we're not performing. We've been wearing the mask for so long. We've confused it with our identity. But let me tell you something that might wreck you in the best way. God cannot bless the man you're pretending to be. He can only bless the one you actually are. And until you lay the mask down, until you stop trying to impress everyone else and start getting real with God, you will live empty. No matter how full your life looks on the outside, You see, the world has told you to hide your pain, to never let them see you struggle, to laugh it off, to numb it out, to sleep with it, to drink it away. But that pain, it's not your enemy, it's your signal. It's the crack in the mask where the light is trying to get in. The world says your pain makes you weak, but God says your pain is where He meets you. You've been taught to chase image, followers, aesthetics, appearances. But image is hollow. It's a shadow. And a man living in shadow will always feel like a ghost. The real you, the one who's afraid, the one who doubts, the one who doesn't have it all together, that's the one God is after. Not to shame him, but to redeem him. Not to expose him, but to heal him. The mask kept you safe when you didn't know how to survive, but now it's killing you slowly. It's not your identity, it's your prison. And the Father is calling you out of that prison, out of hiding, out of fear. He's calling you into the freedom of being fully seen, fully known, and fully loved. You don't need to be perfect to be powerful. You don't need to have it all figured out to be a man. You just need to be real. Because God doesn't anoint fake versions of you. He anoints the real thing. The question is, are you willing to take the mask off? Because on the other side of that decision is your freedom. Most people think the rapture is some far-off event, some sudden moment in the sky, angels, trumpets, people vanishing, and maybe it is. But I believe the rapture starts long before the sky splits open. It begins in the human soul, you see. The word rapture means to be caught up, to be taken out, lifted, removed. But what if God is trying to rapture you out of the life that's destroying you right now? What if the real rapture starts the moment you say, I can't do this anymore? The moment you say, I want something real. I want to be clean. I want to be whole. Before God lifts a generation into heaven, He has to lift them out of hell on earth. And I'm not talking about fire and brimstone. I'm talking about the hell of numbness. The hell of performing for love. The hell of pretending you're strong while you're secretly falling apart. The hell of sleeping with women you don't even care about just to feel like a man for 5 minutes before the guilt returns. The fire you're in right now isn't punishment. It's invitation. God is not trying to burn you up. He's trying to burn away everything that isn't truly you. You've been buried under layers, shame, addiction, fake smiles, broken dreams. But in the fire, all that falls away. And what's left is pure, real, untouchable. That's what the rapture begins with. Not escape, but purification. We keep asking God to take us out of the storm. But sometimes He lets the storm come to take us out of ourselves. Because the man you were never called to be, he needs to go. The one who lied to survive, the one who manipulated to be loved, the one who hardened his heart because he was afraid to be abandoned again. That man cannot enter your future. So yes, the rapture is coming, but it starts inside you when you finally say enough, when you finally choose truth over comfort, when you finally surrender the mask, the games, the secret sins, and you step into the fire not to die, but to live. You were not born to stay in chains. You were born to be caught up, not just out of the world, but out of the lies that have ruled your identity for years. Let the fire come, because after the fire comes resurrection. You were never meant to chase. That's not who you are. That's not what you were born for. And yet, look at what the world has done to men today. It's trained you to be a chaser, chasing women, chasing money, chasing approval, always chasing but never arriving. And here's the tragic part. Most men don't even know why they're chasing. They just know that if they stop, it all falls apart. But I came to tell you something different. You weren't made to chase. You were made to carry. You were designed by God to carry presence, strength, wisdom, and weight. To be the kind of man that heaven can trust. A man who doesn't run after things because he knows who he is and what he's here for. The man who carries doesn't need to manipulate. He doesn't need to impress. He doesn't need to become someone else to feel loved. because he understands that value is not something you chase, it's something you embody. But that kind of power doesn't come from the world. It comes from knowing the voice of the one who created you. You see, men have been lied to. We've been told that masculinity is toxic, that strength is dangerous, that leadership is control. So we shrink, we silence ourselves, we get passive, we get numb. And then we wonder why our relationships fall apart, why our spirit feels lost, why nothing satisfies. Listen to me, God is calling you to carry again, to carry your identity with integrity, to carry your future with discipline, to carry your pain with courage, to carry your woman with honor, to carry the truth, even when the whole world tells you to drop it. You were not created to be a slave to your urges. You were created to govern your soul like a king, to protect what is holy, to lead with love, to fight for purity, for clarity, for legacy. This world doesn't need more men chasing status. It needs men who can stand still, rooted like mountains, while everything else shakes. That's what you were made for. Not to run, not to prove, but to carry the weight of eternity with quiet fire in your bones. Because when a man stops chasing and starts carrying, everything around him changes. The final sign, it's not out there in the clouds. It's not in the headlines. It's not on the news. It's not another war, not another eclipse, not another global shaking. The final sign is you. The rapture doesn't begin with angels descending from the sky. It begins the moment a man wakes up in the middle of the night, staring at the ceiling, asking, is this all there is? It begins when you can't keep pretending, when your soul starts to ache for something more, when all the pleasures you used to run to just feel empty. That's not a breakdown. That's not depression. That's the summons of God. The ache is not your enemy. It's a divine signal. You're being pulled out of the illusion, out of the performance, out of the cycle of temporary highs and eternal lows. The world will say it's just anxiety. The enemy will tell you you're broken. But I'm here to tell you the truth thing, you're awakening. You're being called into something you were born for, but never shown. A life that's not led by fear or by lust or by the opinions of others, but led by truth, led by fire, led by God. This is the final sign, not out there, but within you. When you finally stop running from your reflection, when you can no longer stomach the counterfeit, when your soul starts crying out, I want real love, real purpose, real identity. This is not just some emotional phase. It's a spiritual alarm sounding inside your bones. You may not even know where to go. You may feel lost, unsure, afraid to take the next step. But that step, no matter how small, is the most prophetic thing you'll ever do. Because when a man finally stands up and says, I will not die in this version of me, he becomes the sign. He becomes the trumpet blast. He becomes the shift in the atmosphere. He becomes the proof that God is still moving. The world is watching for signs in the sky, but heaven is watching for signs in the soul. And when you choose to awaken, to surrender the fake, the shallow, the temporary, you fulfill the prophecy that's been waiting for you all along. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be awake. And brother, you are the final sign. This is your exodus. You've wandered long enough. You've lived in Egypt long enough, building bricks for a system that never loved you, chasing approval that never satisfied you, wearing chains that were passed down from men who never got free themselves. But you are not a slave. You were never meant to die in the wilderness. You were never meant to repeat the sins of your father. You were never meant to bow to pharaohs of shame, addiction, and silence. This is your exodus moment. This is where the old man dies and the new man rises. Not because you earned it, but because you answered it. In every story of God's move, there is a man who walks out. Abraham left the land of idols. Moses left the palace of comfort. David left the field of obscurity. Jesus left the tomb. And now it's your turn. This isn't about hype. This isn't about religion. This is about a line in the sand where you stop agreeing with your wounds and start agreeing with your calling. where you stop saying, I'm broken, and you start saying, I'm chosen, because you are chosen. Chosen to lead when others shrink. Chosen to carry when others chase. Chosen to walk out when others stay comfortable. And don't think the fire won't follow you. Don't think the Red Sea won't rise up in front of you. But also, don't forget that God still splits seas. He still tears veils. He still raises the dead. And He's calling you now, not next year. Not once you've cleaned your life up. Now, right in the middle of the mess, right in the middle of your doubts, He's saying, son, come out. I have more for you. You're not called to survive this world. You're called to shake it. And maybe, just maybe, the rapture isn't about escape at all. Maybe it's about resurrection, a tearing away from everything false and a rising into everything real. A new man, a new name, a new fire in your bones. This is your exodus. Don't wait for the trumpet. You are the trumpet. And when you walk out, every chain you break becomes a prophecy for the next man behind you. Rise, Son of God, the wilderness ends here. This is your time to walk into the promised land. Before you scroll away, I just want to say this. If something stirred in you today, don't ignore it. That wasn't just words. That wasn't emotion. That was your spirit remembering who you are. Maybe you've been numb. Maybe you've been drifting. Maybe you've been walking through life like a ghost, showing up for everyone else but feeling invisible to yourself. But something inside you is waking up now. Don't put that back to sleep. If this spoke to you, if this lit a fire inside your bones, don't keep it to yourself. There's another man out there right now thinking he's the only one feeling lost, and your one share could be the sign he's been crying out for. So here's what I'm asking you to do, like this video if it hit home. Comment below. Be raw, be real. Tell your story, or even just say, I'm in. Subscribe if you're done living in Egypt. And share this with a brother who needs to wake up. You know the one. This isn't about building followers. It's about building free men. Men who know who they are, men who rise, men who carry, men who lead. And if you're still breathing, it means God's not finished with you yet. So rise up, walk out, and don't look back. Your exodus has already begun. Now let the world hear your footsteps.